What's up, everybody? Welcome to another adventure with the Brothers of the ReWatch. My name is Frank Escamilla.
I'm Michael Centeno.
And we are here with a movie that means so much to us. Something that we've all dreamed about, being able to go back in time and change things or make things better, or at least find out who won or place a bet on the right team. I'm talking about the world famous movie about time travel, the one that set the standard, Back to the Future.
That's right. 1985, directed by the great Robert Zemeckis, written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, starring the star-studded cast, Marty McFly, of course, Michael J. Fox, Dr. Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson played the character of Marty's mom, Lorraine. Crispin Glover, who the whole interesting
he's my favorite
story about.
I know it's about Marty, but he's a scene stealer, bro.
He is, right?
Brilliant.
Really. Also Biff Tannen.
Oh yeah,
he's
also.
such a great character. Jennifer Parker, who's Marty's girlfriend, who only comes out in this movie, but then it gets recast in the other films, which is interesting. But yeah, this is honestly, I have to say, this aligns with Ghostbusters. This is like one of my all-time, not just 80s movies, but just all-time movies of, just one of my top three, I would say. I've watched this movie so many times. When we were talking about doing this podcast, I was saying that I think I'm good with, I don't even have to watch it again because I watched it so many times. It's always on repeat. I love all of them. I love the trilogy. I love the part 2. Part 3, which I feel is like maybe the least favorite of folks, but I think they're all great.
I love Westerns, so it's probably up there for me.
Part 1 is a lot of stuff filmed in the valley. We've gone to all these film locations that are close by. There's constant, meetups. I love this film.
Meetups. Wait. There's another
meetups
layer
in here.
of nerd being revealed here.
I missed it, dude. It was last weekend. I completely forgot. They're doing a meetup at the, where he rides the skateboard out of the Jack in the Box. That's here in Burbank. And so the folks were going to do a meetup there and then also go to the house which is also in Arleta. And there's people that have like their customized DeLoreans and 4x4
so
trucks.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
Invite me, bro.
Dude, I completely forgot. I missed it. I was like,
And this is a big year because this is 70 years since the day Doc Brown came up with the idea for the flux capacitor, bro.
I thought you were gonna say 70 years since the movie. I was like, wait, what?
No. 70 years. He came up
1955.
with it in November 5th, 1955. We're in 2025. 70 years since Doc Brown came up with the idea for the flux capacitor, which made time travel possible.
Have you seen those like memes that are going around that are saying that the film takes place in 1985 and they travel back to 1955, so it would be the equivalent of today in 2025 to travel back to 1995?
Oh, really?
30 years, the 30 years difference. And it's like 1995. Like, damn, it wasn't that much of a...
I'm still there. What are you talking about? Still dressed like that. Still listen to that music, man. I like time travel every day.
On the rewatch, though, I was like, okay, with what I love about our podcast, not to toot our own horns, but I love about this is the process of going back and rewatching these films. Sometimes we learn kind of sadly, unfortunately, that the films don't hold up in the same way as adults. But other times when we're watching it, just with the specific knowing that I'm going to talk to you, I'm paying attention for other things, right? Not just simply enjoying it. And again, on this rewatch, knowing that we were going to talk about it, man, there's so many... This film is perfect.
It is. I think I text you that. It's so great.
It's a perfect film. I challenge you to deny that this is a perfectly made film. From the writing, the acting, the music choices, the action scenes.
Even the opening, right? So like I was thinking about that with the Universal, even with the Universal sign, right? Like the Universal logo that comes out. It's a Universal logo from a time when that meant you were going to get something great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You knew it. You saw that's the space, the earth, and you're like, oh, this is great. This is going to happen. And then it jumps right into like, Steven Spielberg Presents, which that name is always attached to something great, right? And then we get the title, and then we get the obsession with time, right?
Yeah. I love it.
I don't usually care for panning shots that are that long, bro. But this is like the first 5 minutes is just establishing like Doc Brown. And it's great because it's like it opens up to like clocks and watches everywhere telling us like this guy is obsessed with time.
Oh my God, I love it. And such a slow opening. Like you say, they stay on the shots for very long. It's a very slow opening. We don't reveal Marty's face till much later in the scene. But on the rewatch this time around, I was like, man, they set up so much of the movie in those first 30 minutes. They really set up a lot of what's going to happen in the future, or in the future of this film. They do a lot of foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah.
They give you a lot. They give you a lot of backstory. But it's so well done and it's so subtle that you don't. Obviously, we know what's going to happen later, and like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. That makes sense.
We got news clippings.
So intentional.
Brown Mansion destroyed.
Yes.
We see like his it's in shambles because he's just too busy to clean. He's just always moving. We see cups and we see food. We see that really cool Felix cat clock that I always wanted. But
I know.
never really
Me too. Yeah.
We see all the that everything's also on time. It's automatic, right? So we see like the coffee's brewing, but there's no pot in there. We see like the TV turns on and off. We see that's what I like too. Is like you have to pay attention because even in the news, it's talking about the petroleum heist.
Right.
Plutonium heist. Not petroleum. That would have been a whole different movie. But yeah, it's talking about that, and it's foreshadowing. It's just setting everything up so that in this first 5 minutes the history and what's going to happen.
It's given a lot of expository information, and it's funny because later on, when Doc Brown says, like, there's a line where he says, "I finally invented something that works." And it's funny because in the beginning you see he has all these contraptions to make coffee, to feed the dog food. The dog food's not landing in the bowl. The coffee's missing. So he's like, he's a passionate scientist and inventor, but also hasn't had success with his inventions.
Well, all of these are pretty successful. Like, I mean, I think it's more establishing that he hasn't been there for a while because it landing in the bowl. Yeah. The coffee's not there. Like he has all these robotics. So But yeah, it is like he's so passionate because it even throws like it in the trash can, right? Yeah. Which is cool because it does it on purpose to introduce us to Marty. Right.
Yeah. Everything, the cinematography, it's just like, man, it's such a great opening scene. And it's also, again, on the rewatch, there's a lot that happens, and just thinking about moving to one scene to the other scene to the story that they're telling, it's kind of a lot. And I was like, I don't think I really acknowledged that without like looking at it again on the rewatch. So I was like, man, I don't know how we're going to talk about this because it's kind of a lot going on, and it's kind of long too, Yeah. So I definitely don't want to go through every single scene, but there's so many good scenes and so much good acting, and just the way they introduce all of our characters, and everything. But what is interesting is that there's this unique relationship with Marty and the doc, right, where he calls him and he's like, "Oh, I'm glad I found you. The clocks are behind 20 minutes." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I want you to meet me tonight at the mall. It's a Friday night."
You know what was great? He was whispering that whole time. Marty, Marty, are you there? Right? And we were like, "Oh, he's doing something. He's up to something." And Marty has that big speaker blowout. Yeah. Which Doc warns him about after. But yeah, and then Marty finds out he's late.
He has to book it to school, and
that's the power of love. We get Huey. Wasn't it Huey Newton in the news?
Yeah, you get the 80s music off the bat. It just sets such a unique tone and just automatically just takes you to a good place. And yeah, so he's late to school. He gets, he sees his girlfriend Jennifer. She warns him he's going to get in trouble again. We meet Strickland.
Jennifer's beautiful too. This on the rewatch, I was like, I was like, oh, I didn't notice, but she looks like someone I used to date. Oh no! And I was like, hey, I was Marty McFly. But she's a beautiful, and she's got his back, bro.
She does have his back
right from the beginning, like because we get Strickland is his name, and she's like, yo, he's coming, like we gotta go get you hiding, you used to be your fourth tardy, and so that was really dope. But even the introduction of him, right, is part of telling the story of the history of him in that town. Yeah. He's like, your dad was a slacker. He was a nothing. You'll never amount to nothing. I'm like, damn, principal.
Yeah, dude, because he was like, the principal. Is he the principal? But what a jerk, because he tells him, oh, I see that you're going to be auditioning. Your band is going to be auditioning for the school dance. He's like, why even bother? You guys aren't even going to.
Yeah, he's horrible. Like dude. It's a horrible man. Horrible like human being. This poor kid has dreams of.
He's just knocking him down. I was like, damn, 80s administrators, school administrators, no love whatsoever. Do they show the audition before he goes back home? I forget.
No, yeah, it does, because he's like, no McFly has ever amounted anything in the history of Hill Valley. And he's like, well, history's about to change. Yeah. Right. And then that's when they do they cut to the scene where they're the pinheads. They're rocking out, and the judges are all old people, and they're like, you're just too loud, bro. You're out. Right. They played like 20 seconds, I think.
Yeah. And I love after that, Jennifer, again, being the best girlfriend in the world, she's like super supportive. She's like, look, you guys are good. Let's send your tape to, she knows somebody at a radio station or something. And then he starts talking about, he's like, what if, what if they don't like it? What if they tell me I'm no good? And he comes to the realization, he's like, man, I'm starting to sound like my dad.
Yeah, it was also, there's that scene I just want to point out, because I'm like, damn, this dude checks out girls in front of Jennifer. Like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, she is the coolest girlfriend, bro, because you didn't get smacked or anything.
His head, yeah.
She turns him back, and she's like, look, listen, we're talking about your career, and you're over here looking at girls in leotards.
That's true.
Yeah, so I was like, come on, Marty. She's a good girl.
Do better.
Yeah, better.
But, so then she, they're talking about, I'm excited. We're going to go hang out tomorrow. We're going to go to the lake. I'm going to borrow the car. I'm not going to tell she's like, did you tell your mom? I can't tell my mom because she's not like that. I'm pretty sure she was born a nun.
Yeah, she was a saint.
She was a saint. And then
they're about to kiss, and then that lady, save the clock tower! Yeah. Save the clock. She's like, timing lady, you ain't going to get no money if you're interrupting his play.
Yeah, it was great. And that's where he gets the infamous flyer for the clock tower. And it's a paper that Jennifer writes down the number of her grandmother, because she's going to be at her grandmother's house tonight. And he gets that number and he puts it on the back of the flyer, which tells the story of how the clock tower was destroyed in a lightning storm.
And she put, I love you.
And she put, I love you.
With an exclamation mark, bro.
And that's the power of love.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Does that song just not make you feel good, dude? Like in the beginning of just to start out the movie. It's just, it's just like
this 80s music pumped me up, bro. And then he takes off on the back of a cop car, which is like, this dude is like a rebel.
Yeah, on the skateboard.
Yeah. And then he goes home and he lives in it looks like a nice neighborhood,
It's
bro.
not bad. It's not bad. It's definitely like middle class. They have a car. They have multiple cars? One car?
One car, I think, that they all share.
And that's where we get the introduction to Biff, because a tow truck is bringing a totaled car. We get an introduction to Biff, his parents, his family, his brother and his sister, brothers and sister. And we see our character of Biff is blaming Marty's dad, George McFly, for, why you didn't tell me you had a blind spot in your rear view.
A blind spot.
And he's basically a bully.
He's still bullying him, but the funny part is that he's like, what's his name? Marty's dad says, now Biff, can I assume that your insurance is going to cover it? It's like, my insurance. He's like, it's your car. And he's like, I'm worried about who's going to pay for this. He says, look at this. I spilled beer on myself when I was he was drinking while he was driving his car, bro. But he's a pushover. George is a pushover. Yeah. And Biff is just like used to like getting his way with him, and he's his manager. And they have this really like, I don't know, I thought it was a really intense scene where he's left alone with Marty, and he's like, I know what you're gonna say. He's like, I'm just not very good with confrontation, right? And it's like, oh man, like this is him all his life. Yeah. And Marty kind of resents his dad.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. One, because he doesn't stand up for himself. But two, because now he doesn't have a car to take Jennifer to the lake. Yep. So, and in this, we get kind of like the family dynamic of the mom. The mom is like an alcoholic, basically. She's basically drinking throughout dinner. The dad is just kind of laughing at the TV, which is a great laugh.
This is my favorite scene of the movie. And there's a lot, but I will say that because of George McFly, because he's so funny. Like the dad, when the son gets ready to go to his fast food job, and he kisses him on the head, and he's like, "Woo, time to change that oil." And he's like, like it's so funny, and he's like, he's completely that person, right? Like this actor, I forget his name.
Crispin
Glover is just like completely George McFly. And then there's subtle things in this thing, right?
So much.
They don't point out that she's an alcoholic, but you just see her pouring the vodka in there. She's overweight. She's unhappy in her marriage, holding on to like the past.
Yeah.
And then she turns to George at one point and she's like, what was it? She asked him for a specific like detail. And he responds angry. He's like, what, Lorraine?
Yeah.
What? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, why did, do they hate each other?
Yeah.
And then, but then we get the mom telling him like, I don't like Jennifer. Like, girls shouldn't call boys or hang out with boys. I never did that as a kid.
Park with the boy.
Yeah. And the sister is like, there's nothing wrong with that, Mom. She's like, well, I never did it. Like, which is really funny. Well, we find later, but
yeah, absolutely. They give so much insight into the family, the dynamic, because you're gonna see them later on in their youth, and it just kind of makes a lot of sense how they got to this place based on the characters that they were and the people that they were in the past in 1955. And so, Marty ends up falling asleep. Doc calls him. He's like, you didn't fall asleep, did you? He's like, no.
He always falls asleep in that funny way, too, in every movie.
He's showing a little too much behind.
Mouth all open.
Yeah, and he's like, no. He's like, don't forget. He's like, I need you to stop by and bring the video camera. And he's like, yeah, I got it. And he ends up going to the Twin Pines Mall, which is another meetup location, which I haven't been able to do.
I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah. It's really cool because the sign is they have it in the mall.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think it's what mall is that?
It's I can't even think of the name right now. But yeah, I haven't gone yet, but it's definitely on the list of movie locations to go see. And this is
Puente Hills.
Puente Hills. There you go. Yeah. And this is a great, we get our first introduction to the Doc. Emmett Brown, played masterfully by Christopher Lloyd, and he really created this character, embodied this character. It's probably one of the greatest characters of all movie history.
I agree.
Doc Brown, what a great character. He totally embodies it, nails it, hits it off the board. Every single movie he's in with this Doc Brown.
Also, you wonder how they met.
Yes, that's what I was kind of getting to in the beginning. There's a weird relationship with Doc Brown and a 16, 17-year-old high school student.
And Doc is really responsible with his high school student, right? Like, how did he get
putting him in danger, having him handle plutonium, getting shot at by Libyan terrorists.
It's really bad. He's like, he stole petroleum. Plutonium. I keep saying petroleum. And I heard that in the original script that they were video pirates.
Video pirates.
Yeah, they used to pirate like VHSs and sell them. Yeah, in the original script. So I'm like, I guess that kind of makes sense. You're gonna need somebody to like work for you.
Yeah.
So a high school kid, like cheap labor, or whatever.
Funny.
But this, I'm like, yeah, how did they meet? And it's great because like he's wearing the radiation suit, and he's like, and Marty says, is that a Devo suit? He's like, never mind that now. But yeah, it's interesting. I would like to see the backstory on how they met, but hey.
And we get the introduction of not only Dr. Emmett Brown, but of the now iconic classic time machine built out of a DeLorean.
I thought you were going to say Einstein. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, Einstein. Wait, the DeLorean.
I need
the cutest dog ever.
Yeah, Einstein is great.
The first time traveler.
And they end up doing a test with him. This whole scene is great, and I'm
coolest
not trying to
remote control car ever.
Yeah, I don't want to gloss over it, but I mean, there's so much to talk to in this film. But this is a great classic scene where we first see the DeLorean. We first get the first time travel test with Einie inside.
88 miles per hour.
88 miles per hour. You're going to see some serious shit. The fire tracks, the special effects don't hold up 100%, but it's still like,
Yeah. I love that they're standing, like Doc positions them right in front of the car, and Marty keeps trying to walk away, and Doc's like, stop moving.
And then he just does it. Yeah. He just doesn't, he's like, okay, nothing strange about this car about to hit us.
Coming at us as fast as a train, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to trust the Doc,
I guess so.
And then he's like, but the thing is, the Doc never ran this experiment, so he's like, so as soon as, luckily, it disappears, and he's like, it worked! Which is like, that could be a fan theory. Maybe it didn't work and they're both dead and Doc is like dreaming this, right?
Right.
But yeah, so that was hilarious. Yeah, and the special effects for the time were amazing.
Yeah.
And then he starts explaining the whole thing. He's like, forgets. He's like, what time is it? And they just dodge out of it coming back because it was only a minute.
Right. He sends them in the future a minute, and they're catching up to that moment. And he reveals that, this was first. He basically invented time travel, and he shows them how it works. You have the controls, the flux capacitor. You set the time. Where do you want to go? Birth of Christ. And then he goes, here's a date, 1955. This is when I first, and he tells them the story of how he fell off the toilet, hit his head, and he came up with the idea of the flux capacitor. He ends up telling them that, they need to load it with plutonium. And he's like, where'd you get plutonium?
He's like, holy shit, this sucker's nuclear. And it's great the way he keeps walking at it because he's like, no, it's not, it's electric.
Yeah.
But we need the 1.21 gigawatts to create the explosion, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's great. It's great because he needs all this information. If he did none of this, they would be screwed.
He wouldn't know, right? And he tells them, they wanted me to build a bomb, so I built them like a.
He's like, it was empty, it had nothing inside of it. But that's the dedication, right? Like this fool was so dedicated to his dream that he lied to terrorists to get the stuff, and lied to them some more to build his time machine.
Yeah, absolutely. And he shows them, they load it up with the plutonium. He gets his suitcase, and he's like, "Oh, I almost forgot the plutonium. How am I gonna get back? Only one container." He's like, "Where's my thinking?" And then they start to. That's where they see the van pulling up, and they're kind of squinting. They're like, "What's
they
that?"
found me.
Yeah,
I don't know how, but they found me.
Yeah.
Run for it, Marty!
That's my favorite part. He doesn't even try to protect them. No, he's like every man for themselves.
But he does. He's like, I'll draw their fire.
With
he
the
the little pistol. He's down, bro. Doc Brown is down.
I know. He's like, Doc Brown's going to kill some people right now. Fuck. He's just like, I'm going to.
But yeah, and that's what's so cool about it. I mean, he's so charismatic, but it's like he is a scientist through and through. It doesn't matter who dies, what dies. He's trying to prove his purpose. Right?
Yeah. Well, then he just invented time travel. So he has to,
yeah. So in comparison, what's one high school kid's life to the ability to time travel?
The greatest discovery of human history. Yeah, and so they're the Libyans come basically with armed in a Volkswagen van and a
fully automatic
weapons, and they come terrorizing, and they end up getting Doc. They end up shooting him up, right? And they end up chasing Marty. Marty dives into the DeLorean, and he ends up taking off. And I love this scene too, because he's in there. Let's see if you bastards could do 90.
Mm-hmm. Forgetting what just happened.
Just forget just what happened 5 minutes ago.
I mean, they are shooting. They have a bazooka.
I know, and the
adrenaline,
so, of course.
I guess. But like Doc just said, he was about to go into time. He's like, I'm not bringing in any extra plutonium. Yeah. I'm having trouble with that word today. Yeah. And then he's like, and he forgets that too, and that creates the whole problem.
Yeah, and so he ends up traveling back. He goes to old Peabody's farm,
which is great. This is another one of my favorite scenes, man, because it's like, they're back. Who owned this land,
right?
And he just crashes into the barn, and this was so important to me because when the family comes, right, and like they're looking inside, they're like, what is it? It looks like an airplane without wings. And then the son is so obsessed with his comic book and sci-fi. And this was a time of our culture where sci-fi was so big, man. Right. Like Twilight Zone, science fiction theater, like all of these cool things where aliens, where people were like, I guess, more gullible to that, and that was the entertainment. So I was like, man, how fun must it have been, at least as a little white kid, I guess, to grow up in the 50s, right? Like, I mean, really, like in the 50s at this time when all of this was like, like, I don't know, real, like new,
Yeah, and he's I love the line where he's like, he morphed into human form.
Oh yeah, he already morphed into human form.
You get him, Dad.
Oh, it's great, man.
And
then he drives out and he runs over a pine tree.
Oh, right.
You have to notice that because at the end of the movie, it's not called Twin Pines; it's called One Pine Mall.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Because those were the pines that they named them after. And I
didn't realize that one.
Yeah, man. Fun fact. There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, so much attention to detail throughout the whole thing, which is like, it's very awesome to see. And Yeah, so he ends up, traveling back, and he's slowly coming to the realization when he comes across a sign like soon to be Hill Valley, and he ends up parking, hiding, quote unquote, the DeLorean behind the sign, and he just puts a couple of like leaves over it to hide it.
Yeah, I'm just surprised his brain didn't explode, man. Like
Right?
that is
Yeah.
huge trauma on you. Like all of a sudden you're somewhere else. Everything that you knew was no longer there.
Yeah.
Like that must have like. I mean, it's a movie, but it's, it seems like I would have been like, how does your brain like not
Process and not
that?
like, go crazy.
Yeah.
And so he ends up walking 2 miles to Hill Valley.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
And this
dun,
is so
dun,
funny.
dun,
So
dun,
I
dun.
remember watching this movie a lot. We would watch a lot of movies as a family together. And I remember my mom specifically, my parents really enjoyed it. My mom really loved this aspect of it where they went back to 1955 because this was obviously a time that was very fond in her memory. This was like around the time or maybe later where they migrated to this country. And like also, it was just a different time, right? So different, the music, the nostalgia. So I always remember like how much my parents enjoyed watching this movie, and we watched it together as a family, and we just watched it a lot. But it does really, I'm assuming that it really does do a good job of capturing that period of time and a little bit of the innocence and ignorance of that period, but I love he the first thing is he goes into the cafe and he's like, he's like, are you going to order anything? He's give me a Pepsi free. He's like, you want something, kid? You gotta pay for it.
He's like, give me a tab.
A tab, yeah.
So you want something? I gotta give you a tab. I mean, you gotta order something. So I can give you a tab. The Pepsi free.
Yeah.
You want something? You gotta pay for it.
He's like, just give me something with no sugar, which is very odd. I thought was a very
For a
odd
teenage
order.
kid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And he gives him coffee. And he just gives him coffee.
Because the Pepsi free had no caffeine, right?
I'm assuming, but
I don't.
maybe
It had probably
no
had tons of sugar in
I
it.
know. Either way. But he asks for like a phone, right? The first he goes for the phone, he tries to call the doc, he doesn't answer. He pulls a sheet and he's like, do you know where this address is? Riverside Drive. That's where he tells him he needs to order. And then unknowingly takes a seat next to his past young father, George McFly. And that's where Biff comes in, a young Biff who looks great, dude.
Both of them do. They look
Yeah.
really handsome, like in
Right,
that
yeah.
style. I was like, are they just really handsome guys, or
I
is it
know.
like this
Or
50s
this-
thing?
yeah.
Did me and Mike have to start dressing like this? Is this going to improve our status in life?
I think in general, if you dress that way, you're gonna look good. So maybe we should.
Maybe.
And that's where we see, the origins of the bullying of George McFly and the relationship with Biff, who's just a big jerk to him in general. Same thing. You're gonna have my homework. I need time to rewrite it to make it look like mine. I don't want to get busted. He's basically bullying him, pushing him around.
And he bullies, but then he in return bullies Marty a little bit.
He's like, "What are you looking at, bud?"
Well, because there's he's like, what are you looking at? But and the other guy's like, look at this guy. He just jumped ship or whatever. And then George laughs like, yeah, haha.
Yeah.
Like, but then they go back to George and picking on him.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was like trying to, it's a sad scene, man.
It is a sad scene because here he is looking at his father being bullied and not really standing up for himself, and we get the great scene of the person cleaning the floors, Goldie Wilson. He's like, man, you gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta be somebody. And he's like, that's right. One day you're gonna run for mayor. And he's like, mayor. I like the sound of that.
Which it's funny because by the theory of time that they're using, Marty changed everything.
Oh yeah,
Everything. Like all these little things, like just by saying Pepsi free, like
Right.
all of this stuff. But I love that when after Biff leaves and before Goldie says mayor, how he's just staring at his dad because he's just like dumbfounded,
Right.
like and then George is feeling, and it's just a funny scene because it goes for about 3 minutes and then he's like, what?
Yeah.
But then and then George takes off and he runs after him and he's like, Dad,
Yeah.
George, hey, you want a bike?
Yeah.
But this is where we lead to the scene because the mom talked about earlier in the dinner scene how they first met and fell in love, and we find out that George is a pervert.
Right. He's a peeping Tom.
He's a peeping Tom. He's checking out Lorraine through the window, right? It's Lorraine.
I don't know if it's Lorraine or if it's supposed to be someone else.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, but he is definitely a pervert looking at somebody through a window, binoculars on top of a tree, and he loses his grip. He falls down to the street, and this is where Lorraine's dad is supposed to hit him with the car, which ultimately makes her fall in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
But Marty instinctively saves his dad and pushes him out the way. Marty gets hit by the car, wakes up in Lorraine's bed, where she's feeling a certain way toward
What I love
her
too,
son.
real quick, is that when the dad hits him and he comes out and he looks, he's like, I forget the mom's name, but he's like, one of these damn kids jumped in front of my car
I hit
again.
another one of these damn kids.
He doesn't say I hit a kid. He's like, they jumped in front of my car.
Yeah, so it's happened more than once, unfortunately. But the mom, Lorraine, keeps calling him Calvin, and he's like, "Why do you keep calling me Calvin?" He's like, "Well, that's what it says. That's your name, isn't it? It's on your underwear,
your
Calvin
underwear.
Klein." I never seen anyone wear purple underwear before. And he is extremely uncomfortable.
It's a good scene too, bro. I mean, I don't want to stop too much, but like, because it sets it up well, where he's like, well, she's talking to him, it's in the dark, and he's like, "Oh, I'm back home. It was just a dream," and she's just young and gorgeous.
Yeah,
and then you find out like, he's like, where are my pants? And she says, "Over there on my hope chest." Yeah. and then he falls because he's uncomfortable, and she's being really flirty. But then you hear the mom downstairs yell, "Lorraine," and then you find out that she took his pants off.
Yeah, and she's like, "Put your pants back on." And he ends up staying for dinner. And again, we just get some more of like, oh, he's out, a fish out of water. He's like, "This is great." Or like, they're like, "You have a TV?" He's like, "Yeah, I have two." He's like, "You have two TVs?" And she's like, "Nobody has two TVs, you know?"
Yeah,
and then
he's
like,
just teasing you.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, this is a rerun." He's like, "What do you mean? This is the first time it ever comes out."
Jackie Gleason? Yeah.
So it's just cool. It's just
and it's cool because the older brother from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, Wayne.
Yeah. And then that other little girl too, was in a lot of movies in the 80s and the early 90s.
I don't know where she's from.
I think it's the girl from Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, the
little redhead?
Oh, is it? Oh, dang. I think maybe.
I think so. They only show her once, I think. But
yeah. And she's like, this. Basically, Lorraine is trying to get him to spend the night, right? Or trying to convince the parents to spend the night because
they might know his mother and they feel responsible. And she's like, "You can sleep in my room."
Yeah,
and
she grabs him. Yeah. And he gets up. He's like, "I gotta go." And he ends up going to look for the doc, to find the doc in 1955.
And Doc's living in this mansion.
Right.
Bro, Doc has money. His family has... Well, I mean, I think they established that throughout the whole thing. Like,
yeah. Well, in the second movie, I don't think they talk about it too much, but in the second movie, they talk about how he basically sunk his family fortune into building the time machine, right? But he ends up finding Doc. Doc has this beautiful contraption on his head that he's like, wait, don't tell me. And it's supposed to be like a mind reading type of thing. And, they get to exchange. Doc doesn't believe him at first, of course.
You know what this means. He's like, he's like, "I'm from the future. I've come here in a time machine that you created." Yeah. And he's like, "Do you know what this means? It means this junk doesn't work." He's all mad because none of his inventions work.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Tell me, future boy." He's like, "Who's the president?"
Yeah.
"Ronald Reagan." "The actor?"
And he basically ends up, the way he convinces them, he's like, "I know how you got a cut on your head. This is where you came up with the flux capacitor." He then takes them to show him that it's real and that it really worked. And again, he finally invented something that works. And they end up going back, and that's where he learns that.
Yeah, they're watching the video. He's like, "No wonder your president has to be an actor."
Yeah.
It's sort of good for television because they find the Vigo VHS recorder.
Yeah, a mobile TV studio.
Yeah.
And that's where they come playing the tape back. They realize they need the 1.21 gigawatts.
And he freaks out.
Charge.
1.21 gigawatts. And then he runs away, and then Marty's like, "What the hell is a gigawatt?" Yeah. Yeah, man. And then he's like, he goes to his office, and he's talking to the other inventors and the pictures of the other inventors. He's like, "How can we be so irresponsible?" And he's like, "Sorry, Marty, you're stuck. The only way to do it, the only way to create that sort of explosion energy is it would be a bolt of lightning, and we never know one of those is going to strike."
Yeah.
And then of course we do, because Marty, because they set up the movie so good.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I'm like, man, they just do this so, like, again, going from scene to scene and just transitioning and setting things up. Is like, it moves in such a great way, man. I love it so much.
Would you want to see, Mike, your parents Like, would you want to go back in time and see? Because, like, you think about all the stories they told, and, like, it's funny because Lorraine in the future is like most, I think, Latina parents, right? Like, where they're like, oh, yeah, I never did this and I never did that, you know? And then you find out, like, through stories when you're drinking with your tios and tias that, you know, they slip out and you're like, oh, my mom was a cochina, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, and so it's like, you know, would you want to? I mean, I would. Like, I wouldn't be judgmental, but I would just be like, yeah, I knew you were up to some crazy
No,
stuff.
I think I'm less interested in knowing what they were as youth. I'm more interested in going back in time and being a popular kid in school. being chased by all the.
Fortunately, I don't got to do that. I don't got to go back in time for that reason because
it's already happened.
Yeah, I lived it.
So he ends up, they end up coming to the realization that they do, in fact, know when exact moment lightning is going to strike because he has a flyer from the clock tower. At the same time, he shares a photo of the family, which is interesting, which I didn't catch before, where he says when he's trying to convince him when the doc doesn't believe him, he's like, cheap photography trick, his hair's cut off. Which I didn't realize was that his hair is cut off because he's starting to disappear.
No, his head's cut off.
His head's cut off, but before the doc says his hair is cut off.
Oh, does he? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because before before they realize that he intervened with the meeting of his parents, and then when they look back at the photo and he's like, just as I thought, he's being erased from existence.
Erased from existence.
Such a great line.
Yeah, how he delivers it is so great too, man. And then we go to the school, the next scene.
And what a great, like, again, just the storytelling wise, the danger is so real because he's erasing time, he's erasing existence.
That picture is necessary,
right?
Now there's a clock, right?
Yeah, now there's a clock, exactly, and it's all his fault because he bumped into and inadvertently stopped them from meeting, so he has to go help them kind of connect, which is great when they go back to the school to kind of make that happen, which is funny because him and Doc Brown just stroll in like nothing.
Well, it's just funny too. I just want to point this out because it's so quick you'll miss it. But when they're walking into the school, there's this funny scene where like they're walking past bikes and Doc walks over the bike instead of like around. Like Marty walks around the bike, and Doc like mounts it and goes over it, and it's so strange, right? And I was like, I'm like, yeah, Christopher Lloyd put so much into this character.
He really did. He's so great. It just, everything is so intentional, and so that's where they meet the parents in the school, and they realize that, and Doc realizes that his mom is kind of developing feelings for Marty, and he has to really figure out how he could get them together. And he's like, they're your parents, you have to know, they have to have told you something. And he's like, the enchantment under the sea. And even Doc, he's like a social.
No, he says, I wrote it down. He says there's a rhythmic ceremonial, like something. And he's like, ritual. He's a rhythmic ceremonial ritual. And I'm like, God, Doc, you could just say dance.
I know, you can. So scientific, right? So he realizes he needs to get him to, get Lorraine to the dance so they could fall in love and kiss and they could continue to exist. Doc is going to go work on the time machine, figure out the plan to get him back to the future, quote unquote. And Marty's going to work on Crispin Glover, George McFly, to convince him to ask his mom to the dance.
Yeah. So he meets him in the lunch hall.
Yeah.
And then we find out that George McFly is a secret he's a nerd, but he's a secret sci-fi nerd.
Writer.
Right?
Creative writer. He's like, get out of here. I didn't know you did anything creative. He's like, let me read it.
But then they have that again, that scene that's really subtle where he's like, let me read some of it. He's like, no, like I never really ever reads my work. What if it's not good?
Right.
I couldn't handle that kind of rejection. He's like, you probably don't understand. And Marty's like, because he said the same thing about his music.
Yeah.
And then he's like, then he just keeps pushing Lorraine. She really likes you. She really wants to go to the dance with you. And then he's like, I think she'll probably want to go with somebody else. Like who? And then Biff's over there harassing her. And Biff's aggressive, bro. Like in this movie, like it's
assault.
Yeah, he was assaulting her. And I love Marty because Marty's like, that's my mom. But she's thinking like, oh, Marty likes me because he's taking care of me.
What a hero.
And he goes, but I still use this line today because she says, get your meat hooks off of me. Yeah. And then he goes, you heard her, get your meat hooks. And then there's that scene where they show the perspective difference of their height off, but he's still not scared, bro.
Right,
like,
he's not backing down.
But I always say that to people when they grab my arm, get your meat hooks off of me.
And just to go back a little bit or talk about what's great in that subtle scene between the two is the theme that they play upon, on which how Marty is. There's instances where we see Marty replicating the behaviors of his father, right? Or the kind of being his father in a lot of ways. And and it's interesting because both of them through the movie kind of have to overcome this feelings of doubt and insecurity, which is so beautifully done, right? Like this, the journey of both of them, of both him and his dad, have to kind of overcome and conquer these kind of emotions and feelings.
Yeah, and talk about like healing the wounds of your ancestors, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine being able to do it so directly, like to see how you inherited the wound, right? And
which is the way he's coming to the realization all this time when he's in back, right?
Awesome. Yeah, he sees
awesome.
Like, oh, that's why I do this. That's why they're like this,
Yeah.
and like to directly, like in the relationship, be able to offer things that can shift that from like even in the wounding, right, or even in the insecurities, can invite him into something different, right? It's deep, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they don't highlight that, but it is.
That's there. It's really cool. I love it.
But then he's chasing him. He's like, leave me alone. And then he's like, I'm just not ready. I love that. I'm just not ready. And not you or anybody else from this planet is going to make me do it. Make me ask me to dance. But then like it goes to this scene, which is a great scene, where he's in bed and he puts his Walkman on him and he's dressed in the radioactive suit. And then he presses like the rock and roll. But I was thinking, man, he just ruined, because he says, my name is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I'm from planet Vulcan. Like these things don't exist already.
Franchises.
They probably don't exist anymore.
I know.
They probably don't exist in the world because he did that, right? And the music too. Like, yeah, I thought about that and I was like, he ruined Star Wars.
Yeah, he totally did. And so, this is what it takes to convince him. The next day, George McFly is excited to ask Lorraine out. And he's like, oh, why the change of heart? And he's like, well, he doesn't really tell him why, but he's excited to ask her out. He gives him tips. And there's moments when they go back to the diner and he's reading off the notes that he has. There seems to be moments that Lorraine, which I think she does such a great job of like subtly acknowledging him and maybe in a different way, or seeing him in a way that she hadn't seen him before. Very, very subtle. Like there's very little things where he ends up finally being able to say, you're my destiny. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Right? She's like, oh. And then.
She's like,
destiny?
You're my density.
Yeah, destiny.
I mean, my destiny. And she's like, oh. And there's a moment where it's they're like a magnet. They recognize each other. Like there was something that was supposed to happen here. Yep. And then. Biff the anomaly.
Oh, my God. Always messing things up.
Hey, McFly.
Yeah. I love they both turn around.
Yeah. Right? And then everything stops. The music stops. Yeah. He's like, I told you not to be in here. He's like, what's going to cost you? How much money you got, McFly? Yeah. And then Marty trips him, bro. Marty, I love Marty.
He stands,
that dude is not scared. Yeah. I mean, at least not in these contexts, right?
Right.
And they have the scene where Biff gets up and they slowly show how tall he is again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great, man. And then Marty's like, dude, I can't take this dude out fair. So he's like, hey, Biff, what's that?
Yeah, and he falls for it.
And it shows that a young Billy Zane is one of his goons.
Yeah, a very young Billy Zane. That's so funny. I think it's hard to notice, but he's in there. He's in the background. And which leads to another iconic, memorable scene that wanted me to learn how to skateboard so badly, but I got on the skateboard once and I fell back immediately, and that was my first and last time I ever tried to skateboard.
Decided you like to walk better?
I decided I like to walk better. But it was an amazing scene where he makes a makeshift skateboard out of like a makeshift scooter that he steals from a kid or borrows from a kid. And there's a great chase scene with him and Biff with that car, convertible. Obviously, maybe 1955. I don't know what kind of car it is, but I love that car, dude.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful ride.
I would have been mad too, bro.
Yeah.
Because it was all in manure. Like, it was a great scene.
Yeah.
Like, even the music. So
iconic. So iconic.
And, but the manure, he gives it back, and he's all proud of himself for what he did. But it's like, dude, you're creating enemies, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this fool is, like, going to kill you. Like, look at him. But yeah, that just drives Lorraine's hormones crazy. She's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, she goes, hunts him down at Doc's
She follows him, bro. She
stalks him, yeah. And she follows him. And she's so bold and forward that she wants... I think she says, like, I want you to invite me to the dance or ask me to the dance or something like that. Or she says, I'm going to ask you to the dance. But she basically... And she's like, what about George? And she's like, George McFly? She's like, he's cool, I guess, but I would like to go with somebody else. And...
It's great too because during that scene right before this, like Doc shows him his idea. He's like, "This is," and he's like, scene. He built a whole city.
Like, I apologize for the crude model. It's not built to scale.
Yeah, and then
he did great, John. You did great.
He runs through it, and I mean, it's amazing. It's like a Lego set, but then they have the little fire scene. So we know that's happening, so they have to hide it because they hear her knock. And
that reaction he gives when it crashes. That's
so good.
I love that always cracks me up. His reaction is so great. Yeah.
So Lorraine comes and all that happens, and she's like, I want you to take me to the dance. So Marty has to adjust his plan, and he comes up with a solution, and he's like, George. He goes to George's house. He's like, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. You're gonna find me in the car. I'm gonna like make moves on her, and then George is like, wait a minute, you're gonna touch her, and he's like you're gonna come, you're gonna open the door, and then you're gonna say your line, and he's like, oh, hey you, get your damn hands off her. And then he goes, you think I should swear?
Yeah. Do you really think I should swear?
He's like, yes, George, god damn it, swear.
Yeah.
But yeah, they set up the plan, and then it's on. Right, they're ready. Doc has the plan to get him home to generate the 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah.
Marty has the plan to get his parents together finally.
Yeah.
To save him in existence, and then we get the prep scene. Right, they're prepping everything on the street, the actual street.
Oh yeah.
And then
Marty's weather experiment.
Struggling with because Doc doesn't want to know anything about the future because it endangers the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
But Marty's like, dude, like you die. Like he wants to tell him, like I want to save his life, and so he writes him a letter.
Yeah.
Right, and he tucks it into his jacket pocket. And they have a scene too I love where Doc's fine-tuning everything, and the cop comes, and he's like, and the cop's like, what are you doing? And he tries to look under. He's like, don't touch it. That's very sensitive weather stuff. And he's like, do you have a permit? He's like, of course I do.
Yeah.
Like, and you could just tell, like, Doc does what he has to do to get away with what he has to
yeah, and it's funny. So I ended up watching the film at the theater, so on a larger screen, and I didn't notice that when he said, yeah, I have a permit, he pulls out his wallet and he gives a cop cash. He bribes him. Yeah, like I never noticed till we watched it blown up on the bigger screen. He bribes a cop.
Cool, I've never.
I know. That. Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. Like you said, he does what needs to get done, and so Marty. The plan is that he's gonna put the moves on his mom, and his mom's gonna push back and get upset. And, that's when George is supposed to come. And Marty's feeling like super nervous, which is a great scene of him and his mom in the car parked. And she's like, well, you act like I've never parked before. And he's like, what? Right? He's shocked because he has this image of his mom as a saint, never doing any of these things.
Because that's what she told him.
That's what she told him. And then she pulls out the vodka bottle or whatever.
No, the little flask.
Yeah.
She says a flask. And then, oh, no, it's not a flask. It's like a fifth of something.
Yeah, that she swiped from her mom's liquor cabinet. And he's like, Jesus Christ, you drink too?
And she's like, Marty, you're beginning. Oh, you smoke because she has a cigarette. And he's like, you're beginning to sound like my mother.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Which is great because she's getting tired of him now. Yeah. She's like, what? And George is inside drinking punch and dancing, bro. Which I was like, George is pretty confident.
He's ready. He's nervous, but he's ready to make this happen.
She looks beautiful, bro.
She looks great. She looks beautiful, and I love this scene where
the passionate kiss scene,
where she kisses him, and then she's just like shocked and pulls back. And it's like something's very wrong.
She's like, I don't know, but when I kiss you, it feels like I'm kissing my brother. And he's all like cowering, cowering in the seat. Like, yeah, that's a great scene, man. And then that's when Marty thinks, okay, it's time. Like he's going to come right now. And the door opens and he's expecting George, and it's Biff and his gang.
Yeah.
And Biff's drunk.
And he pulls out Marty, and they're about to beat him until Biff notices and realizes that it's Lorraine in the car. And then he goes to assault her, and he's like, guys, take him away. and he closes the door, and you're like, oh dang, and they.
Yeah, it's scary because he looks like a predator, bro.
Dude,
like,
it's
the
yeah,
way
it's
he
bad.
looks at her, and she realizes, oh, like this is, yeah, and he's like, he's mad because it cost $300 damage to his car.
Yeah.
He just goes and like he forgets about Marty, and he's like, you guys take care of it.
Yeah.
And then he begins to assault her, bro.
He totally does, and they the other guys, Billy Zane and crew, they punch him in the stomach and they throw him in the trunk of the car of the musicians, which is
the band from the
yeah.
dance, yeah,
which is a great scene because one of them comes out and he's like, "Hey," he said, "What are you guys doing?" And he's like, they tell him something.
No, it's a racial slur. He's like, "Get back in the car, spook."
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he's like, and then all of them get
and
out.
all of them get out, which is a great scene. And they're like, "We don't want to mess with no reefer addicts."
Yeah.
And they're like, the keys are in here. They're like, say that again. The keys are in here. And we cut back to Biff and Lorraine, and George comes thinking it's Marty. We're realizing it's Biff, and Biff.
This is huge, man, because he's like his terror. He's his biggest fear, and he's like he does this. Hey, you,
get
your damn hands off her. And then Biff turns, and he's like, holy shit, it's Biff. It's not Marty. Yeah. But she's like. He's completely like raping her, right? Like right. He's like assaulting her rather, and he's like, and then he notices, and then she's crying. You see her tears in her eyes, and she's like, "Help me, George!" And then Biff is just like, just close the door, McFly, and get out of here. Yeah. And then that's finally his moment, right? Because he's like, no, Biff. Like he's like, I can't walk away from this. You know? He's like, you leave her alone. And it was like, damn, it was a really emotional scene. Like even saying it, like it got me, right? Because it's just that's
he
it.
overcame. Yeah. He overcame, and he changed in that moment. Right?
And he tries to punch him, and then Biff catches it with with karate, bro. Karate move, and she's like, what's gonna happen? Break
his arm.
Cuts back to like Marty getting out of they pop the trunk, but the musician cuts his hand. Yeah. Marty's running back to see what happens, and then it cuts back to them.
Yeah.
And then Lorraine gets out of the car trying to stop Biff, like leave him alone, and he pushes her.
Right.
And that was the final straw. He's laughing, and George is like, "That's it, bro," and he just
clenches his fist.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Shaw! Right, and knocks him out, bro. Yeah. Like spins him around 3 times. He hits him so hard. Biff's laid out. George has this moment. I can't imagine what that feels like, bro. I can't. Like I'm trying to think back to a moment in my life, and probably there's a few of them, but like that one defining moment where he's like, "I am no longer this person. I am this person." Right? And then he has a 100%. Moment where you see it in his face. And then he goes back to Lorraine, and he's like, "Are you okay?" Like, damn, bro, it's such a good scene.
And that's where Marty runs back, and he sees like, "Oh, okay, they it's happening, right? Yeah. It's happening. It's working out." But then he pulls a picture, but his family's still disappearing, and he realizes that they have to do the kiss in the dance for them to fall in love. But the band is not going to play because he sliced his hand. The guitarist sliced his hand in the process of taking him out. He's like, the dance is over. Unless you know somebody that can play the guitar.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
That's a great cut too, because then it's him playing the guitar.
Yeah. And the guy's reaction, like, not bad, yeah.
Okay.
And he starts singing Earth Angel, Earth Angel. And they're they're like dancing, but then it's funny because there's like another scene where somebody else kind of
asks George, "You gonna kiss me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know." And then that weird redhead from all the 80s movies,
cuts in,
and it's weird. It's a weird scene because he just beat Biff.
Yeah.
And this little redhead guy is coming and he's thinking about letting him get away with it, right? But maybe I don't know. I mean, but it was a weird scene.
It was a weird scene, and Marty starts disappearing and falling down because he's
like, "Come on, George, give it to my mom." And then we have the scene. George goes back and he's like, "Excuse me." And he pushes
them, and
hell yeah, bro. And then he goes in for the kiss.
Yeah, and then Marty jumps up because he starts coming back to his life. The picture, his brother, everybody's kind of reappearing because they finally kiss. They're gonna fall in love. It's all gonna work out, which was an amazing way to finish it. And you could have finished it there, but they don't. And they're like, you got anything else, kid, or do you know how to play something?
Well, the picture, I love that they reappear in the picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, wouldn't it be great if more kids reappear in the picture? Like now they have 7 kids.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
But yeah, so he's like, he's like, no, I gotta go. But it kind of brings it back to the beginning moment.
Yeah,
because
he's searching for his stardom as a rock star, and he's like, well, I could do one more.
Yeah.
But
then he plays
I got nowhere to go.
a world famous rock song, bro, by
like
Chuck Berry.
An Odie where I'm from.
But it's great too because while he's playing it, Gordon, what's the guy's name? Larry.
The brother, right? Or
the
cousin.
He's like, it's your cousin.
Yeah.
But he's called, hey Chuck. His name is Barry.
Yeah,
and he's like, hey Chuck, you were looking for new sound.
Listen to this. Which is funny because I watched more recent interviews with Michael J. Fox, and he says that's kind of like a story plot that he regrets because it alludes to black musician needing to be inspired by a white person, which
I thought that too, bro.
Yeah, which is
it's a joke.
I get it.
It was just it was a joke. But I mean, it was
an iconic scene where he's playing, people are vibing, the party's getting lit, everybody's dancing. It's a great scene.
And then he turns to Slash from Guns N'
He
Roses,
just gets
bro.
carried away, he gets too excited, and he starts going off, crawling on the ground, knocking down speakers, and everybody's just in like shock.
And again, shifting the space-time continuum. Constantly. And
just
then,
so irresponsibly handling the laws of time travel.
And he's like, and that might be a little much for you, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah. And they get the nice little goodbye from George and Lorraine at the end, which is a funny part because he's like, if you ever have a kid and he ever accidentally sets fire to the carpet, just take it easy. Go easy on him. And it's a great. They thank him. He says his goodbyes. Will you ever see me again? Will we ever see you again? He's like, yeah, you can count on it. Mm-hmm. And they end up taking off, and it takes.
She's like, Marty, that's a good name.
Yeah,
that was kind of dumb. I'm like, you could have thought that the first time you were doing it. It's Calvin. Imagine they would have called him Calvin when he went back.
And they, he goes back to the dock, and again, he's trying to tell him what happens. He gives him the letter, or he has the letter. He's like, what's the meaning of this? The storm is kind of picking up.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's about your future.
Your life depends on it. He's like, no, I won't take the responsibility. And he tears it up and throws it in the air, and then he wants to yell at him.
He's like, fine, I'll just tell you. And then boom, something happens where the tree falls and knocks the cable down.
I think lightning hit it.
Oh, was it actual lightning?
I think a lightning bolt hit it. Yeah. Or the wind was really strong, and it landed on the wire that was connected to the pole on top of the clock that was going to be struck. And he's like, I'll get this. You get the wire. And they start trying to reconnect it, but they only had 7 minutes because he said you have 7 minutes. And so then Marty's still trying to yell at him, like he gives him the cord, and Doc's trying to connect it, still trying to yell at him, almost falls, and he's like, you got 4 minutes and you're not gonna go home. So Marty takes off, and then there's they create the epic tension. Yeah. Right, Doc almost falls.
Which is I was like, one plot hole is that you have to get the timing perfect for the lightning bolt to strike the tower and transfer the electricity and hit the DeLorean at the exact precise moment. That was kind of like a plot hole. The second plot hole is Doc Brown climbing up the flight of stairs to go out there, connect the thing, slide down, all in like 4 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it was.
No, it's true.
It's a little much.
I mean, the first one I could. Doc is a scientist and a thorough one, right? So I think he calculated for everything, right? So maybe he calculated how long it would take the lightning bolt to strike and then go down the wire and hit that specific spot, right?
But he uses like a hand stop clock.
Yeah, but it is true. And then within 4 minutes, he has to do all that. He has to climb back up. He slides down. Marty goes and parks the car and gets ready. The car stops. But there's another plot hole because the alarm goes off.
The alarm goes off. It's like a whole nother 2 minutes.
Yeah. And so he lost time. So like that would have, but whatever. It's a movie. But then Doc is great because he finally plugs in the thing and then it comes disconnected on the bottom.
Yeah.
But here's the big one, bro. It's like he gets down, he slides down the wire, he gets down, he plugs it in time, but then he's holding it when it gets struck by lightning. And I'm like, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, like fried beyond recognition, but he just gets up and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we did it!
We did it."
But yeah, then Marty hits the car with his head. It starts. He gets there. They hit the wire at the right time. He's sent back in time, and then Doc celebrates. Yes! Yeah. He's all happy about it. Everything's in destruction. I'm like, man, who's gonna explain all the mess? But then Marty, and in that time, Marty decided to set it 10 minutes earlier so he could go and warn the Doc.
Right.
Gets back to his time, which looks the same. The car stops. He has to run to Twin Pines, which now says One Pine.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get there on time. And the Doc still gets shot. And he witnesses the whole scene that he just lived the week before.
Gets re-traumatized.
Yeah, and then he goes and he's crying for the Doc. And then the Doc's eyes move. And then he sits up, bro. It's so good. It's such a great scene.
Yeah.
And he sits up, and then Marty turns and he's like, "You're alive." He's like, "What happened?" And then he doesn't even talk, which is great. Yeah. I don't know if he's out of breath or what, but he opens up the suit and he has a bulletproof vest, which luckily they didn't shoot him in the head.
Right.
And then he's like, "How did you know?" And then he doesn't say anything. He just takes the letter out of his pocket, right? Which is cool.
Retaped.
Yeah, and then he's like, and then Marty's like, "What about that whole space time continuing thing?" He's like, "Well, I just thought, what the hell?
Yeah."
We already screwed up
what
enough.
A selfish asshole. It's
yeah.
like, I'm just going to save my own life.
It's just a space-time thing.
It's just space-time continuum. Marty ends up going back home, and the next morning he awakes to find a nice house, a kind of different from what he left it.
The interior,
the interior. His brother's in a suit, and he's like, "What are you wearing?" He's like, "I always wear a suit to the office." Everybody's different.
Yeah.
His mom comes out.
They're eating a healthy brunch.
Yeah, his mom comes out. She looks great.
Yeah, the mom and dad come from playing tennis.
Yeah,
and they both look great.
Yeah.
And he has no grease in his hair.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, he definitely changed something. And then we have...
But again, his brain is adjusting to the new reality.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't go crazy.
Right.
But he faints, and then he's like, he's just noticing that everybody's happy. Yeah. And different, and and even when they mention Jennifer, the mom's like, "Oh, I like her. She's great. You got this big trip, and then he says,
but the car's
wrecked, and then
like,
everybody
what?
freaks out.
Yeah,
he's like, "No, false alarm, Biff's." And then we see Biff, and what happens to Biff, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. He now has his own like detailing business, which is kind of. I mean, I guess he makes money, but he's just not Biff who he was.
Right.
Which is fine, but he didn't have to be like, I don't know. He's just he's like George.
It's funny. You're the only person that has come to the defense of Biff.
I don't know, man. You're like comeuppance, right? But then later in the later episodes, you learn like he lives with his grandmother. She's not the greatest, right?
Yeah,
so I don't know, man. I'm not saying he was okay. It's not okay. Any of the stuff that he did, but like. I don't know. I was just like, oh, poor Biff. Now he's detailing cars, and then he's like, hey, your book came. And we find out George is now an author of a science fiction book, and he quotes Marty. He's like, you put your mind to it. You can accomplish anything. Goes into the garage. He has the truck that he was coveting at the beginning of the movie.
I want that truck still.
Hell yeah,
dude,
bro.
It still holds up. Isn't it awesome?
It's such a good truck. It's so good. And then Jennifer shows up, and she's still the same. Yeah. Which would have been funny. I mean, there's little things I was like, you could have made her different, and it would have been funny.
Yeah.
Like you could have turned her into Elizabeth Shue then.
Yeah.
Right. And it would have been great, bro. But,
that would have been awesome.
The transition, but then they kiss, and they're like, she's like, you're acting like you haven't seen me in a week, and he's like, I haven't. So they're getting ready. They're talking about the trip, and then we hear the iconic, the sound of the time machine, and Doc runs out, and Doc's wearing like a Ronald McDonald suit, bro. Like it's red and yellow, and his glasses are from the future, and he's like, Marty.
I love the outfit. I love the fit, and it's funny because he's like, it's about your future, it's about your kids. And she's like, yeah, or he tells Jennifer to come too, right? Because like it's about your kids.
Well, yeah, he's like, what do our kids do? He's like, what happens? Do we become assholes? Yeah. He's like, no, Marty, it's your kids. Yeah. And he's like, well, Jennifer and I were gonna go to the thing. He's like, well, bring her too. It involves her. And then he's like, they get in. He convinces them, right? Which Jennifer is really brave for saying, like, I'm gonna just jump in this car with this man who just appeared out of nowhere.
That's love.
But then the great scene, bro, where he's like, I got fuel. Now he has a Mr. Fusion.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need plutonium anymore. Right. So they back up and he's like, Doc, we don't have enough road to hit 88. And then you have the iconic line, roads.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah.
And then it reveals that it flies.
Dude, how that was so, seeing that for the first time that the DeLorean flies, it was already such an amazing iconic vehicle, but then now it flies. As a kid, cars that could fly were awesome.
Oh yeah, and it was so cool how it did it. The wheels turn in, it starts hovering, and then it shoots, and then it flies right at the screen, bro.
And then boom, gonna go back in time.
Exactly. And you know we were gonna get a sequel, or at least they left room for a sequel.
Right, which is that's what I was thinking a lot about. Was like, man, they obviously had to write this and shoot it before the movie came out, not knowing whether or not the film was gonna be a success or not. And I'm just curious if they did it, like maybe not knowing the full story of a sequel, but just kind of leaving it open, like, hey, if we wanted to, there's an opportunity, and they leave it on a kind of like on a cliffhanger too, which I thought was pretty creative, which was just interesting. I was like, man, I wonder if they deep down, if they knew, like, you know,
I think they did.
They had to, right? They had to know they had something great.
The original casting was Eric Stoltz.
Oh, that's another crazy. Like, there's so much craziness behind the scenes, but the Eric Stoltz that they filmed a good amount.
Yeah,
of the movie
like most
with
of the
him.
movie, and
wild, dude.
Apparently, like Robert Zemeckis was like,
"It's not
this
working.
is not the movie that I want." Like he was empathizing with, like, they were talking about how he was a method actor and how he made everybody call him Marty, but also how he really like empathized with Marty's character and played it like he would be devastated coming back to a different reality, right? And so he was more serious, and he wasn't handling with the lightness that Michael J. Fox was, who they wanted originally, but he was busy with Family Ties and Teen Wolf. So to think like, damn, like Robert Zemeckis went to like Steven Spielberg and said like, it's not the movie that we want, right? And then to reshoot it and to be confident enough to say like, yeah, like we're gonna leave it open ended because this is a hit. Like,
that's
it's
crazy.
A hit. And they had to know it was a hit. Like,
I always think too, I mean, man, imagine how Eric Stoltz feels now or after. That has to mess with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you still get paid, and you get paid out, but like, yeah, I mean,
imagine you're like, this film goes on to be one of the most iconic films of all time. Universal Studios, like, there's rides, merchandise, it continues, and then you were a part of it, then you weren't.
But also, like, yeah, like if you ever seen Eric Stoltz act, like they got him because of that movie Mask. Right? Which is a great movie. Correct. Yeah. But you think about the way he acts in that role, and I was like, yeah, I would, or Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah, right? He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. It wasn't the right fit. But
I don't think it would have been the right fit. I think he was just the next biggest name at that time.
Yeah.
It's like when they talk about like Will Smith was supposed to be Neo. Like,
yeah. Well, that wouldn't have worked. But like the other one is Crispin Glover, who I guess they also had issues with or challenges with working with, that they ended up not bringing him back for
but they still use his face, bro.
But they used his face or whatever it was, so he ended up suing and he won.
Yeah, because they still had, because back then they had to do practical effects, so they had to make a cast of his face.
Right.
So he didn't want to come back for the sequel, but they still used, they had the
likeness.
Cast.
Yeah. So they sued and he won. But apparently he was a challenge to work with as well, and just... I don't know. It's just interesting. The Jennifer, I'm not sure what the story is there and why they didn't use her for the sequels, but they did end up using our girl, Elizabeth Shue. So, I mean, it worked out. She was fantastic. And in the sequels too.
Shula?
Don't ever say that again.
Also in the original script, I read that the time machine was a refrigerator. And not the DeLorean. So in the original script, that's what it was.
That's terrible.
And they use it. I think they use it for a little bit in like Indiana Jones, like in the last one that they did.
Oh,
where it protected him from the yeah. But it was a time machine, so it was a whole different like way of getting him home.
Interesting.
But I'm glad they didn't go with that.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't go with
Although Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was a phone booth.
That's true. That worked. Well, again, this movie is damn near perfect. What an amazing film. Robert Zemeckis, of course, genius.
It's almost impossible. Like, I feel like we did it some justice, but it feels like we would need 3 more hours to really break down every scene in this movie, because there was so much that was so good, and like just set up everything for the next scene. Like, they are artists.
It was amazing. Everything came out perfect. The writing, and like we said, there are those bigger themes that are really deep that are pretty awesome that they're able to explore in a fun, creative, imaginative way. That I don't know. I never get tired of watching this movie and all the sequels as well. I love them all, and it's always a fun watch. I grew up raising my son on it, so we watch it a lot, and it's just fun. It's fun. I love it.
That's right. So we're gonna sign off. This was Brothers of the Rewatch. Listen to our other episodes, like, comment, and subscribe. And this is the end of the episode. So make like a tree and get out of here.
It's make like a tree and leave.